Have you ever found yourself staring at the ceiling at 3 in the morning, wondering why everyone else seems to find love while you remain alone? You scroll through social media and see engagement announcements, wedding photos, and anniversary celebrations, and that familiar ache settles in your chest. You've prayed countless prayers, attended every singles event, and tried to convince yourself that you're complete just as you are. But deep down, that longing persists. Maybe you've started to question if something is fundamentally wrong with you. Maybe you've wondered if God has forgotten about the desires of your heart. Maybe you've even bargained with heaven, promising to be better, to pray more, to serve harder if only He would send someone to share this journey with you. But what if I told you that your waiting season isn't punishment? What if the delay you're experiencing isn't divine neglect, but divine design? What if God's timing in your romantic life is actually the greatest gift He could give you right now? Today, we're going to explore the profound reasons why God keeps you waiting for your soulmate. This isn't about platitudes or empty promises. This is about understanding the heart of a God who loves you too much to give you something before you're ready to steward it well. By the end of this message, your perspective on waiting will be transformed forever. The first truth we must grasp is this: God's delays are never denials, they are developments. When the Almighty holds back what you're asking for, He's not withholding blessing from you. He's withholding you from settling for less than His best. Think about a master craftsman working on a precious piece of art. He doesn't rush the process because he knows that every stroke, every detail, every moment of careful attention contributes to the masterpiece. Your life is God's masterpiece, and He refuses to compromise the final result for the sake of your impatience. The waiting you're experiencing right now is not wasted time. It's sacred time. It's the season where God is preparing not just your future, but you for your future. Consider this carefully. Most people enter relationships hoping the other person will complete them, heal them, or fix what's broken inside. But God's design is different. He wants to send you someone who will complement the wholeness He's already building in you, not someone who becomes a bandage for your wounds. This is why the waiting can feel so intense. God is using this season to address the very foundations of who you are. He's healing childhood wounds you didn't even know existed. He's breaking generational patterns that would have contaminated your future marriage. He's teaching you to find your identity in Him alone, so that when love comes, you won't lose yourself in another person. Every day you spend single and surrendered to God's process is a day of preparation for the most important human relationship of your life. While you're waiting, He's working. While you're wondering, He's weaving together circumstances, timing, and hearts in ways you cannot see. The enemy wants you to believe that waiting means God doesn't care about your desires, but the truth is exactly the opposite. God cares so deeply about your future marriage that He won't allow you to enter it unprepared. He knows that the wrong person at the wrong time can derail your destiny. He knows that rushing into connection without proper foundation leads to destruction. Your waiting season is God's gift to you, even when it doesn't feel like it. It's the time when He shapes your character, deepens your faith, and establishes patterns of prayer and worship that will sustain you through every season of life. It's when He teaches you contentment that doesn't depend on another person's presence. Right now, in this very moment, God is orchestrating details you cannot imagine. He's preparing hearts, aligning purposes, and setting the stage for a love story that will glorify His name. The person He has for you is also in their own season of preparation, learning lessons they'll need to love you well. The waiting you're experiencing isn't random, it's strategic. God operates on a different timeline than we do, and His timing is always perfect, even when it feels painfully slow to our human hearts. Think about the seasons of nature. A farmer doesn't plant seeds in winter and expect a harvest the next day. He understands that there's a season for planting, a season for watering, a season for growth, and finally, a season for reaping. Your romantic life follows the same divine principle. There's a season for becoming, a season for healing, a season for growing, and eventually, a season for connecting. You cannot skip the process and still expect the fullness of the promise. God's calendar operates on kingdom time, not convenience time. While you're waiting, something beautiful is happening that you might not recognize. God is developing your discernment. Every disappointment, every relationship that didn't work out, every moment of loneliness is actually sharpening your ability to recognize authentic love when it arrives. You're learning the difference between infatuation and genuine connection, between someone who wants to use you and someone who wants to build with you. This divine education cannot be rushed. It requires experience, reflection, and spiritual maturity that only comes through time spent in God's presence. The tears you've shed over failed connections weren't wasted. They were watering the soil of wisdom in your heart. The nights you've spent praying instead of dating weren't empty. They were building an altar of surrender that will bless your future marriage. God is also using this time to establish your non-negotiables. In the desperation of people compromise and loneliness, many on values they once held sacred, they lower their standards, ignore red flags, and settle for companionship instead of waiting for covenant. But the waiting season burns away that desperation and replaces it with holy confidence. You're learning what you absolutely must have in a partner and what you absolutely cannot tolerate. This isn't about being picky or unrealistic. This is about understanding your worth and refusing to accept anything less than God's best for your life. The longer you wait on God, the clearer your vision becomes. Consider this profound truth. The person God is preparing for you is worth every tear you've cried, every lonely night you've endured, and every prayer you've whispered in the darkness. They're worth the wait because they're not just going to love you. They're going to help you become everything God created you to be. Your future spouse is being shaped in their own crucible of preparation right now. They're learning lessons about faithfulness, commitment, and sacrificial love that they'll need to cherish you properly. They're developing the spiritual maturity to lead or support you in the calling God has placed on your life. They're being pruned and refined so that when your paths cross, you'll recognize each other not just as lovers, but as partners in purpose. This is why God's timing is so crucial. If He brought you together too early, you might have enjoyed each other's company, but you wouldn't have been able to build the kind of marriage that impacts generations. If He had answered your prayers according to your timeline, you might have missed the very person He specifically crafted for your unique calling and personality. The waiting is refining you both separately so that when you come together, the union will be unshakable. Every day of preparation is an investment in the strength and longevity of your future marriage. Every moment of surrender is building the spiritual foundation that will carry you through every storm you'll face together. Right now, while you're reading these words, divine orchestration is happening behind the scenes. Paths are being prepared, circumstances are being arranged, and hearts are being prepared for the moment when God says, "It is time." When that moment comes, everything will move with supernatural speed and undeniable confirmation. Beloved, your story is not ending in singleness. Your story is unfolding into destiny. Every day you wait in faith, every prayer you whisper in the darkness, every moment you choose trust over desperation is writing a testimony that will inspire others for generations to come. Stop looking at your waiting season as punishment and start seeing it as preparation. Stop viewing your singleness as abandonment and start recognizing it as divine appointment. You are exactly where God needs you to be, learning exactly what you need to learn, becoming exactly who you need to become for the love story He has already written. When your soulmate finally arrives, and they will arrive, you won't just fall in love. You'll fall into purpose together. You won't just build a relationship, you'll build a legacy. And you'll look back on this season of waiting with profound gratitude, understanding that every tear was an investment, every lonely night was preparation, and every unanswered prayer was actually being answered in ways you couldn't see. Your love story is coming. Trust God's timing. Embrace the process. And remember, the best things in life are always worth the wait. Until that beautiful day arrives, you are loved, you are chosen, and you are perfectly positioned in the palm of His hand.